Hey you guys, I'm Molly with Design Loves Detail, and today I'm going to be sharing my very favorite cabinet colors with you, so stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one. Alrighty, so one of the questions I get asked a lot is, of course, cabinet colors, and I can't wait to share that information with you. Thank you guys for being here too. I want to thank you for supporting, and I will continue to try to bring you the most useful home content that I can. And we appreciate the likes as well. That helps out a lot with the algorithm and those kinds of things. So thank you for being supporters and watchers of our channel. Oh, subscribe if you haven't, of course. That one is a staple in my videos. We're gonna get right to colors now because this is one that is seriously, I think, really hard for people, and it's a big commitment. You don't wanna mess this up. And with wall colors, for me, I kinda like wall colors to almost just be so subtle that you don't almost notice them, that the walls can kind of fade away, but the cabinets, on the other hand, you want to be more of a focal point of the kitchen and more of a statement maker, in my opinion. The white cabinets are kind of more of a subtle thing that we have seen for many years now, and I will be sharing my top white color for kitchen cabinets, but also I'm going to be sharing mostly some that are maybe neutrals but more of a saturated tone so that you get a little more color happening in those cabinets. These I think are very fresh and current colors. I've used all of these, and so I can show you examples of how they look, and I love them. The first one is we're going to look at our kitchen from our last home that we sold recently. I loved this kitchen. I went with Farrow and Ball's shaded white. It is such a classic, beautiful tone, and it's a little bit different than a typical white. It's kind of a really light grayish tone, and you can even go a little bit lighter with it if you wanted to soften it a little. I used it at full strength and I love it. It's just got this really, it feels almost timeless to me in that it's not in your face, the color's really subtle, but it still has a classic nature to it. But it's gonna complement a ton of different things and go really well with those warm and cool tones that you might mix in. So it's gonna look great, for instance, with the Benjamin Moore Booth Bay Gray, which is my second color. This one I used on the kitchen island, and you can also see it in the butler's pantry. So that one is called a gray. It almost reads more of a soft blue-green tone, a little bit more on the blue side, I would say, but still, you know, it's ultimately a gray. Depending on what you pair it with, it's going to look a little bit more, if you put it, for instance, with the wall color that I did, which is Benjamin Moore Swiss Coffee, it's going to help it look a little bit more in the blue tone because you have that warmer white up against it, and it's gonna kind of bring out the color in it so that it doesn't look just flat gray, which I love. This is one that, you know, it sort of was with our last home, was like my signature color. It was our front door and my son's nursery wall and the exterior doors, the office. Anyways, I used it a lot of places. But you can see it specifically on the cabinetry for the island and for the butler's pantry, and it looks amazing with the black countertop there. Love that. Again, a really classic tone, and it's a medium gray with a blue-green undertone. It almost reads as more of a blue-green than it does even a gray, but it still has enough gray in it that it feels really subtle and is a nice complement to, of course, the shaded white, and also looks amazing with the oak, the light oak tones as well. I think that that one is another great one for bringing a little bit of color in your cabinets, keeps it from feeling boring. Of course, I love a white kitchen too, but I do feel like so many white kitchens have been done that the trend is leaning toward a little bit more color in the cabinets. These colors, I think, are wow colors, and I have tried them all, and I love these. So let's move on to number 3. This one is actually from a client project, and it's another one of those really gorgeous subtle tones. It's Farrow and Ball Pigeon. It is so pretty. This one is a gray that takes on a green tone. I would almost describe it as a really soft, pale, muted green, because that's kind of more of how it looks, even though it technically is a gray. It looks so gorgeous in this laundry room space we did. This is from a couple years back, but I still feel like this color is just so fresh and current, and I love it. It's just such a wow moment. And you know, something like a white cabinet just wouldn't have made the impact here. Next up is another Farrow and Ball color. I do love Farrow and Ball. They have this classic, timeless feel to them, which isn't the case with all paint companies. They do a great job with this, and I also do prefer Benjamin Moore a lot of times because they have kind of a gray base, a lot of the colors, so they don't feel as like, you're less likely to get one that's just like too much color. It's a little bit more subtle, a lot of the ones. There are some great Sherwin-Williams colors as well, and I am kind of branching out into those. I used one in our remodel project that I'll be sharing soon, and I'm going to be using probably more of those just because I need to branch out. So a lot of these are Farrow and Ball and Benjamin Moore, but I will start bringing in more of the Sherwin-Williams as well for those of you who have been asking. Another note is that with the paint colors for Farrow and Ball and Benjamin Moore, most places can match them. You do want to get a sample and make sure that it is accurate to what you want, but I have done that time and time again where we actually use a different paint brand and we match it to one of these other colors because, for instance, Farrow and Ball, paints are really from like England, I believe, and so it's hard to get them. And so a lot of the local places can color match to those, and that's what I did. Lamp Room Gray. This is another one that has kind of like almost like reads as a blue, even though it's a gray. This is what I used for our mudroom locker cabinets, and they're so cute. So I really love this color as well. Looks great with the creamy walls. Again, just really classic. I love it with that gold hardware up against the color. Such a stunning combination. If you're looking for more of a white, Farrow and Ball has one called Wimborne White, which is what I used for our built-in cabinets that have the inlay panel of the, what's it called? The cane front panel. And so that cabinet in the white is actually Wimborne White, and I also used it here in a client kitchen space. This was a remodel project. You can see it's just a really clean, crisp white, and it's got a little bit of warmth to it too, so you don't get that stark feeling. It's got a nice amount of depth and creaminess to it without being like yellowish. It's a good one for that warm white. Other favorite of mine right now is Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter, and this is actually what we're using in our flip home, and I love how it turned out. It looks amazing with the white oak, and it is, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this color. So it's a little bit deeper than, like I mentioned, the Farrow and Ball shaded white. Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter is one of those that is kind of a chameleon color. It is flexible in terms of if it can pair with warmer tones or cooler tones. It sometimes reads almost, it's technically a greige. It is a really nice saturated tone that has like some warmth without feeling too tan-ish. It's just like got a little bit of the gray mixed in. Anyways, it's just like one of those really, really pretty colors. Again, is really timeless in my opinion. I'm loving how it's turning out. We don't have the kitchen all the way done, but I'm gonna show you how it looks so far. Perfect with the white oak island there. That is just the regular white oak, and it has a warm gray stain. It's a custom stain that Prestige Woodworks does, so I don't know the name of the stain, but you guys could get some samples with a warmer gray stain and probably find something really close if you're using white oak. There's that Revere Pewter is just really flexible in pairing with other colors, and I can't wait till we get that project done so we can photograph the whole thing and show you kind of that vision all coming together. Last up is, actually I have two more left. One is the color that I used in our basement kitchen, and it is Benjamin Moore's Duxbury Gray. So this one is a really gorgeous color that reads like kind of a blue-green, almost a little bit more, it's a little bit more blue than the last one I'm gonna share for our current kitchen. It's like, I wanna kind of give you comparisons. It's hard to do necessarily in photo because they do look really similar in the photo, but in person, and kind of describe it to you. The Duxbury Gray does have, it's a nice saturated tone, and it has kind of that blue-green undertone to the gray. And it's definitely one that changes a lot depending on what you pair it with. I love it with gold hardware. You can kind of see how that turned out in our basement kitchen, but I love it. It feels more like a color than a gray, even though it technically is a gray tone. Kind of that really pretty green, blue, gray. The last one, which is what we used in our kitchen here, is Benjamin Moore, and it is Gettysburg Gray. This one has more of a green tone than the Duxbury Gray. It's still really similar look where it's just that subtle blue-green, but it's a little more on the green side, I'd say. So I've loved it. It's like the perfect color color with our stone and all that stuff, that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of those green tones that we're seeing. I never pick like an actual green. I pick a gray that has a green undertone, or you know, a gray that has a blue undertone, just not like a straight up green or a straight up blue, because the color that you want, if you're wanting something more subtle, is likely actually a gray with those undertones rather than like a blue. Like you guys have probably seen this. I see it all the time, like all over Instagram, where somebody's like trying to get, like, I know what color they want, and then they get like a blue, and I try to say, you need a gray. You need a gray that has a blue undertone. And also one more, I guess this is a bonus color. The china cabinet that we did here is Benjamin Moore Baby Fawn, and it is just a really subtle tone too, kind of like a soft tan color that was a great compliment because I wanted something a little bit deeper than a cream. So again, it's kind of in those grayish type tones, but a little bit more on the warm side. Such a pretty one. That's what I did for the china cabinet, so you can kind of see how that looks too. That was a mouthful. That was a lot of colors to tell you about, but I love all of these so much, and I think you guys will too. So thank you guys for checking out my favorite paint colors, and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of future videos. Give us a like. We'd love to hear from you too in comments. I'm curious what you guys are doing, if you're remodeling or building or updating any cabinet colors, what you guys are aiming for. Are you going more neutral? Are you going for a little more color? I'd love to hear, and I will see you next time.